We have the lovely Josh from Archtype. So I'm just gonna, oh, here he is. He's outside. Oh, hello, Josh.
Hello.
Oh,
Hello.
hi, Josh. How are you?
I'm good, but joining from outside because that's what happens when trains are late. Can't get to the office.
No. Oh my God. No, well, don't worry. This is good variety. It just goes to show that, guys, look at how dynamic the creative industries is. We're in different environments. I love it.
Yeah,
Okay.
we are. We're in central London today.
Yeah, exactly. Central London. Okay, so just quickly, guys, just a reminder that if you have any questions, please do put them in the chat. We are collecting all of the questions after the event to be able to send to the speakers to answer. So if we don't answer your question now, that's absolutely fine because it will get answered. Don't worry. So just keep putting them in the chat or in the Q&A. Right. Okay. So Josh, oh my God, we've got so many things to ask you. Okay. So I am going to take you off. Hang on. Let me just stop sharing my screen and then people can see you fully and wholly on the full screen. There we are, bigger version of Josh. You were just a tiny thumbnail on the side. Okay, so Josh, do you want to introduce yourself and talk about Archtype? What do you do?
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you for having me again. And again, apologies for the environment. But yeah, I'm Josh. I'm a researcher. I am also something they call a strategist. That is kind of a weird, lofty job title that doesn't really mean too much, but I'll get into that in a bit. But what I do is I run this creative company called Archtype, and we basically help brands and organizations from NHS to the Mental Health Foundation to Lovebox and Stormzy with their marketing and content. So yeah, we will make merch for them. In the past, that's sort of how we started, and I'll get onto that in a bit. But we also do digital campaigns, really cool research and insights, all so that brands can be culturally relevant, and so that the stuff that you watch and the stuff that you engage with on social media actually looks good. Although, I must say, not all of it does, but a lot of it does, and the industry is really good for that.
Amazing. Oh my God, great overview. And you've got a couple of different people with different disciplines, isn't that right, working on the team?
Yes, absolutely. And my co-founders send their apologies. There's two of them, Jaden and Thomas, and they both couldn't make it today, unfortunately, but I'm trying to convey their energy here. And yes, so I'm head of strategy. So that lofty job title, strategist again. And Thomas is managing director, but he looks after all the finance stuff, all the account stuff. And Jaden is creative director. He has the coolest job. He gets to design everything, work with the cool brands and the artists. We're just sort of here in the back end, like making sure the business works and all that stuff.
Amazing. But you need all three to be able to operate efficiently. That's the kind of purpose of it. It's amazing. Also, all of your jobs are cool individually. There's no cool. I'm sure they're all amazing. Okay, so when did you know that your job existed when you were at school? And what did you think you were going to do if it wasn't strategist?
Right. So I did not know strategy was even a thing, let alone that you could get paid to do this. I knew a researcher was a thing, but I thought you had to be in a medical institution or an academic body or something like that to be a researcher. And then I thought it was boring. And then I was like, yeah, I'm not going to do that. But what I would have done instead is actually funny because it's what I went on to do in uni. I would have been a software engineer, computer scientist if I wasn't doing this. And that wasn't necessarily my choice. My first choice would have been to be a musician, actually. But yeah, certain powers that be, aka my parents and community, wanted me to go into something more academic that was going to pay the bills. And that's literally what I was going to do.
Okay, well, there we go. And it's so interesting that you originally wanted to be a musician, because you said earlier, you get to work with musicians now, just on a kind of different side of it. So do you want to talk about maybe the variety of people or like different arts, pop culture, things that you've been able to work on, but kind of not in the way that you originally thought you might be?
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? I'll start right from the beginning, because that Lovebox and Stormzy project is really a testament to that. So how that came about was we were still in college. We were like, I was 18, the other two were 17. And I was looking for Lovebox tickets. I will be upfront. I was trying to go to Lovebox that year at a discounted rate. I was like, I'm going to look on socials because no one's going to be selling a discount on any of the ticketed websites. And I was scrolling and I was scrolling. And this was back before Twitter and Instagram were like they were big, but they weren't like the absolute cultural staples that they are today. So there was still like little nuances and little interesting ways you could find stuff that no one else did on those platforms. And I did find something that not many other people did. And that was an invitation to co-create merch and a social campaign with Lovebox Festival. And they said a cool urban artist. Now, the word choice is weird, but they didn't tell us until we got accepted onto the program. And the program was really good in terms of what it set out to do. It helped us, young people from the local area. Myself and Jaden grew up in East London, so it was lovely to go back and sort of work on a project that was actually going to be delivered in communities. And they wanted to see evidence of like young people who had already started something creative, who like really had that passion, that drive, that desire. And little did they know, Archtype at the time was a few months old clothing company idea that we had just got off the ground to release our first thing. And that was the sort of testimony case study we used to get onto the Lovebox project. All now we're on the Lovebox project. We're in the meeting. We're in central London. I remember it like it was yesterday. And they tell us, "Oh yeah, and the artist that you'll be working with is Stormzy." And I'm like, "What?" So all of a sudden, we are at the launch event that we put on. Then we're at Lovebox Festival, and we're meeting Big Nasty, Get, Gigs, Kano, Stormzy. The list is actually endless, and I can't even remember everyone that we met there, but those are like some of the highlights. And this is when like Skepta had released Konnichiwa, like grime was peaking, you know, like in terms of its popularity and in terms of its global reach. So we're seeing all the stars that we grew up with and like idolized basically. And we were like, "Whoa, I didn't know this could be a thing." So literally immediately after that, we registered the business and then we started working on more projects like that. And we kind of just found it out as we went along. And now we sit in this cool space where we get to facilitate more of that work and bring more young people in to what we do. So this might sound old to you all in the audience, but the mean age of our team is 23. So we're all average sort of 23-year-olds. That is young in the industry. That's really young. It might sound old though, because I realized that 23 sounded ancient to me when I was like, just not this old. So, yeah.
Absolutely amazing. Like, what a phenomenal story. Also, just to remind you guys, this all happened to Josh and his team at the ages of 18 and 17. So like, it just goes to show some of you will be that age watching, you will be at school. They stepped outside of their comfort zone. They decided to apply to something that, you know, I'm sure you guys at the time were like, well, I don't know if this is ever going to go through, but it's worth a shot. And then absolutely one thing just snowballed into another. And then you're now at a point where that is a fully fledged company. You've been running it for ages and you are doing something that you didn't even know was a job, but is fitting so perfectly and nicely into the arts and pop culture world. It is just what a phenomenal story. Real entrepreneurship there. It's really cool. Oh my goodness.
I mean, it's really weird. I still find it weird. We were actually doing an all-nighter yesterday to finish a deadline. So yeah, that doesn't stop. Just to let you know, guys, that doesn't stop. And I was sitting there thinking, oh my gosh, we built all this infrastructure like over the course of the entire time of our youth. And I'm just like looking at it now and I'm like, did not see this coming when I was 18. I didn't even see the Lovebox project coming because we thought we had to be so corporate and so professional. And this is sort of part of like stuff I would tell myself again if I could do it all over again, like to just stay true to sort of yourself and like what you actually wanted to do and not let others sway that. Because the advice we got when we were applying for that was, oh yeah, you need to be suited and booted and you need to be really formal and really corporate. And now we look back at that sort of application videos for Lovebox project and we cringe and we don't show anyone that.
But this is actually a theme that has come up a couple of times now in the different talks that we've been doing over yesterday, which is that you may, as young people, be thinking that you need to be a level of perfect in order to be able to apply to things or achieve certain levels. That, I mean, that is absolutely not the case. You know, Josh has said quite a lot there, you know, in a very kind of concise number of words, which is, you know, if you don't try, then you never will get anywhere, essentially. So don't be put off by the fact that you don't have like loads of experience or you don't feel like a professional. Like, if you just put yourself out of your comfort zone, give it a go, you never know what's going to happen. And you could be Josh, you know, you could be running this business you know, at the age of, you know, so young, in your early 20s. That's amazing. Super accessible story as well for so many young people, I think, as well. Yeah. Phenomenal. Okay. Well, okay. So I got to ask you the other questions. Okay. So tell us about how Archtype is hoping to support young people looking for careers in the creative industries, because I know that you guys have something really exciting that you're working on.
Yes. Oh gosh, there's so many things. So first off, I will say, if you are looking for a break into the creative industry and you're maybe not thinking about going to uni, or you are thinking about going to get further education, but you're not sure where or when, and you just want to get your feet sunk into the industry first before you actually decide, then a youth mentoring company that we work with called Joined Up Thinking actually has a yearly program called Creative Media Training Program. Not the coolest sounding name, but it literally does what it says on the tin. It provides young people age 16 to 25, I think, with 6 weeks paid work experience with creative companies like ours. So we provide work experience and pay London living wage to deliver that. And also provides young people with employability skills, workplace training, English and maths training, and other workshops in the creative industry sector. So last year, I think we did podcasting workshops. The year before that, we did DJ workshops, storytelling workshops as well we've done. And I think this will be our 5th year. So yeah, or our 4th year, can't remember. So yeah, that's one thing. But the other thing that we are working on, to coincide with the launch of our new sub-brand called Archtype, which is a platform for cultural exploration, we're working on a freelancer playbook. So for those of you who might not know, freelance is basically what I've been doing my entire career, but it's when you're not an employee, but you go and sort of collaborate with brands, companies, businesses as a contractor, which means that they pay you directly and you have to sort out your income and your money like you're a business, but you're an individual. And a lot of people go into freelance because it makes them feel like they're their own boss. They can set their own boundaries. They can be in charge of their own destiny. But there's so much stuff involved with tax, involved with the law, involved with getting paid on time, involved with making sure you're working on enough things to sustain your lifestyle that a lot of young people don't know. And a lot of freelancers in general don't know. I speak to people in their 40s and 50s and they have absolutely no idea. So we're trying to develop a freelancer playbook that will be free at the point of use for all young people who want to access it. And that will give you the actual lowdown of what is going on in the freelance space and how to make it work for you, especially as we move forward into a future where if you're making any money on TikTok, if you're making any money streaming, if you're making any money on social media, you're a freelancer because no one's employing you. And that's a really cool thing to do from a young age, but it's also a really cool thing to know how to do it properly and to set yourself up for success.
Absolutely. Phenomenal stuff going on there. Okay, so I will find the link to, or if you could send me the link to the joining, what was it Joined Up Thinking?
Joined Up Thinking. Yes, I will do. Applications
amazing.
won't open yet, but the cohort starts in September. So we usually start applications in like July, August sort of time. So yeah, I'll keep you posted on that, and I'll send it.
Fab. And exactly the same with the freelancer thing. We know that it's like in progress at the moment. Josh will send me over the link to the freelancer playbook when it is ready, and I will obviously be distributing that to literally everyone I've ever met. So So schools,
Love that.
students, you will definitely be aware when that is ready and available. But that's all we've got time for, Josh. This has been super interesting, so enlightening. What a great, interesting story you have, having started what you do at such a young age. And now, you know, being a kind of fully fledged, really, you know, like impressive, cool business with loads of cool clients. It's really cool to chat to you and find out more about what you do. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. I've really enjoyed this chat, and even though it is snowing outside, still good energy.
Really, honestly, you've maintained that energy, absolutely. And I can't believe it's snowing. You must be so cold. Please do go and get warm.
A little bit, going to now.
Thank you, Josh. So nice to see you.
Thanks so much. Bye-bye, everyone.